Thank you. Yes. So we've got a notice to them that if they have objections to what we're saying, they need to notify us. And to take this whole document to the higher level, we need activists in the local jurisdictions calling up their local representative after their local representative has been emailed or faxed or postal mailed a copy of this document. State representatives, city council members, county commissioners, national representatives, national senators, state senators, people like that. A good follow-up conversation there would be like talking to a secretary for a state representative or something. Did Representative so-and-so get our email that we sent yesterday about the constructive notice of treason document? Yeah, okay, you got our email, very good. Did you see the line there about please let us know in a timely manner if you've got any objections to where anything here might be in error? Did you see that we're going to presume that you recognize that there's no errors in this document if you don't object in a timely manner? Okay, yeah, you see that part? Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm glad that you recognize that and you're aware of that. This call is being recorded, and I'm glad to be working with the representative and his staff there in trying to promote honorable government in whatever state we're in. So and this is where it's got to go. It's way more than Charles Stewart can handle by himself. Okay, I can just kind of provide the templates for what to use here. But see, when you throw down the gauntlet in front of them and notify them clearly about these things, and then later on you go into battle with them, then you can say, wait a second, I gave you the constructive notice of treason document, and I gave you the document of citations in support of the constructive notice of treason, which includes the U.S. Senate report talking about emergency powers and how all of these fraudulent declarations of emergency are taking away our constitutionally guaranteed rights. That's item 1 in the citations document. You've had notification of all of this, and now you're telling me that we need more tyranny and despotism, and you haven't responded to the merits of the accusations contained herein? No, we think we've got the right to organize our peace officers as posse comitatus and alter, reform, or abolish the present government under which you are finding color of legitimacy to oppress us because we're tired of taking this. With a little bit of that tone set, my computer is multitasking here. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Yeah, you got it highlighted there nice, Louis. I'm switching back and forth windows, and my computer's doggedly slow here. But on the second page there of the constructive notice of treason document, we emphasize that even though we're being boldly confrontational on our first page, we open up talking about we are seeking peace. We are seeking peace with them. Okay? And that's important. That's the base level in common law. That's why common law jurisdiction officers are called peace officers, as opposed to police officers. They're peace officers. Continuing on. We reference the other documents, including the alternative economics document that are all part of this 5-document package. And as we proceed down, at the bottom of page 2 is specific examples of complaints and grievances related to treason. Okay, and at the top of the list, and we could go back further in history, it's certainly started way back, but for modern history, I think a good place to start is the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. And I linked some videos under it that are clearly explaining the whole evil agenda there. And then issue number 2 is another thing that is frequently overlooked as a minor issue, but a lot of people aren't aware of this. The 1941 Pearl Harbor attack was engineered by Roosevelt. He knew that the Japanese were coming in to bomb Pearl Harbor, but he had put an embargo on Japan, and they were struggling for their life. And he was scheming purposefully to prompt the Japanese to counterattack our people in Pearl Harbor by putting an embargo on Japan and cutting off their supply for economic goods. And there were warnings about the incoming planes from Japan. Aircraft, their aircraft carriers and things were bringing in planes to do their attacks on Pearl Harbor, and he knew it was coming, and he had warnings, and he stifled those warnings because he wanted that attack. He wanted those Americans to die, so that he could then act, posture, pretend like he was all hysterical and he was outraged about the nasty, evil Japanese. He was a pretender. He was a liar. He was a forked-tongued and murderous deceiver. Okay? That's the kind of history we're dealing with, and it continues to this day. And for further evidence, the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy and the cover-up by the Warren Commission, so-called Chief Judge of the Supreme Court, Earl Warren. That Supreme Court is so dysfunctional that they couldn't even hear it and address it judicially. They had to appoint a special commission with some color of legitimacy granted by the Chief Judge thereunder to do something entirely non-judicial to cover up the malicious assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who was actually trying to do some honorable things. And then continuing on, the 1995 bombing of the Federal Murdoch building in Oklahoma, and the brutal murder of many good federal employees therein, and the cover-up thereafter, mostly at the hands of rogue and criminally lawless federal officials and agents, including the fact that it was a physical impossibility for the truck bomb that was involved therein to have actually caused that much destruction. Okay? They're murdering their own people. The September 11th, 2001 demolition of the World Trade Towers, that was purposefully engineered, and they did a mass murder of over 3,000 Americans therein. And in 2011, Federal District Judge John Roll was murdered by what looks like an MK Ultra mind control slave. The guy that got nailed for that was all kinds of wacko. And Attorney General Eric Holder, under the Obama administration, was shuffling money around, and Federal District Court Judge John Roll had issued a proclamation that they weren't going to get to commandeer the money for their gun running programs the way Attorney General Eric Holder wanted to do in his Fast and Furious gun running program. And guess what? Within a couple weeks after Federal District Court Judge John Roll's decision on that matter, obstructing the agenda of de facto Attorney General Eric Holder to abscond funds, guess what happened to John Roll? Within 2 weeks of his decision, he got murdered by what looks like an MK Ultra mind control slave, Jared Lee Lohner. Yeah. exhibits all the characteristics of an MK Ultra mind control slave. This is inside classic CIA high intelligence level operations. And see, they murder their own. They murder their own. Continuing on, the 2013 cold-blooded murder of Los Angeles police officer Christopher Donner, and he was a black man, I believe. The evidence in this case indicates Donner was merely attempting to expose epidemic corruption within the LA Police Department, but who was criminally obstructed therefrom, and he was hunted down and murdered like he was a rabid dog by corrupted and subversive conspirators within and surrounding the same LA Police Department by the same evil forces generally complained of herein. Okay? They murder their own. As soon as some public servant, a judicial officer or an executive officer might start standing up and actually trying to make progress towards bringing forth harmony with the supreme laws of truth and justice and peace, the natural laws, they get murdered. They get whacked. They get, because we've got an evil, subversive conspiracy here. And that catapults us back into the spirit realm, as we open talking about in prayer, and the Blackstone citation about the laws of nature and nature's God, and that there is a supreme creator, some of us believe anyway, because the Pizzagate thing with the child pedophilia and murder and stuff that's going on, you can contemplate that in secular terms. You don't have to be a Bible thumper to comprehend that there are perverted sex fiends out here that actually murder children. They get off sexually on doing murder at the same time. And they're connected to organizations that clearly purport to be satanic. Okay? This brings us back into the biblical realm. There are Satan worshipers that brutally rape and murder children, and it's well documented. They drink the blood of the adrenaline-laced blood of children. When they sacrifice those children, they terrorize them, and the children, their adrenal glands pump because they're in fight or flight mode. And that produces adrenaline in the blood. And then they slit the throat of the little boy or girl. And they drink the blood, and it gets them high. It gets them high. They're addicted to it. Ex-FBI agent, District Supervisor Ted Gunderson, and Georgia State Senator Nancy Schaefer, both of these people were murdered by these devil worshippers, okay? And I'm not proposing that it's not necessary that you become a Bible thumper in order to comprehend these things. The evidence in the secular humanist realm is quite adequate just to realize that we got a problem here. Okay? Continuing on. Anyway. That is a brief summary. And in amended versions of this constructive notice of treason, maybe we could go ahead and put in some other issues. I plan on eventually getting updates to a lot of these documents, but I should pause for comments or questions there on what we've covered so far, and especially if people comprehend how this document is drawing a line in the sand, that we're letting everybody know about the nature of the evil that we confront in this particular document, and I'd like to pause for comments or questions about the merits of my strategy for using documents like this to bring progress in these areas.